Sparta was a prominent city-state in Laconia in ancient Greece. Around 650 BC, Sparta rose to become the dominant military land power in ancient Greece. Given its military preeminence, Sparta was recognized as the leading force of the unified Greek military during the Greco-Persian Wars, in rivalry with the rising naval power of Athens. Sparta was the principal enemy of Athens during the Peloponnesian War, from which it emerged victorious after the Battle of Aegispotami. The decisive Battle of Leuctra against Thebes in 371 BC ended the Spartan hegemony. Although the city-state maintained its political independence until its forced integration into the Achaean League in 192 BC, the city nevertheless recovered much autonomy after the Roman conquest of Greece in 146 BC and prospered during the Roman Empire, as its antiquarian customs attracted many Roman tourists. However, Sparta was sacked in 396 by the Visigothic king Alaric, and underwent a long period of decline, especially in the Middle Ages, when many of its citizens moved to Mistras. Modern Sparta is the capital of the southern Greek region of Laconia, and a center for processing citrus and olives. Sparta was unique in ancient Greece for its social system and constitution, which were supposedly introduced by the semi-mythical legislator Lycurgus. His laws configured the Spartan society to maximize military proficiency at all costs, focusing all social institutions on military training and physical development. Spartan men underwent a rigorous training, and Spartan phalanx brigades were widely considered to be among the best in battle. Sparta was an oligarchy. The state was ruled by two hereditary kings, both supposedly descendants of Heracles and equal in authority, so that one could not act against the power and political enactments of his colleague. Full citizen Spartiates were barred by law from trade or manufacture, which consequently rested in the hands of the perioikoi. This lucrative monopoly ensured the loyalty of the perioikoi. Despite the prohibition on menial labor or trade, there is evidence of Spartan sculptors, and Spartans were certainly poets, magistrates, ambassadors, and governors, as well as soldiers. Allegedly, Spartans were prohibited from possessing gold and silver coins, and according to legend, Spartan currency consisted of iron bars to discourage hoarding. It was not until 250 BC that Sparta began to mint its own coins. Sparta was above all a military state, and emphasis on physical fitness began virtually at birth. According to Plutarch, after birth, a mother would bathe her child in wine to see whether the child was strong. If the child survived, it was brought before a council of elders by the child's father. The elders then decided whether it was to be reared or not. It is commonly stated that if they considered it puny and deformed, the baby was thrown into a chasm on Mount Aegidos. When male Spartans began military training at age 7, they would enter the agoge system. The agoge was designed to encourage discipline and physical toughness and to emphasize the importance of the Spartan state. Boys lived in communal messes and, according to Xenophon, whose sons attended the agoge, the boys were fed just the right amount for them never to become sluggish through being too full, while also giving them a taste of what it is not to have enough. In addition, they were trained to survive in times of privation, even if it meant stealing. Besides physical and weapons training, boys studied reading, writing, music, and dancing. When a Spartan man went to war, his wife would customarily present him with his shield and say, "With this or upon this," meaning that true Spartans could only return to Sparta either victorious or die fighting. Laconophilia is love or admiration of Sparta and its culture or constitution. Sparta was the subject of considerable admiration in its day, even in rival Athens. Many Greek philosophers, especially Platonists, would often describe Sparta as an ideal state, strong, brave, and free from the corruptions of commerce and money. With the revival of classical learning in Renaissance Europe, Laconophilia reappeared, for example in the writings of Machiavelli. The Elizabethan English constitutionalist John Aylmer compared the mixed government of Tudor England to the Spartan Republic, stating that Sparta was the noblest and best city governed that ever was. He commended it as a model for England. The philosopher Rousseau contrasted Sparta favorably with Athens in his discourse on the arts and sciences, arguing that its austere constitution was preferable to the more sophisticated Athenian life. Sparta was also used as a model of austere purity by revolutionary France. Sparta was frequently a subject of fascination in its own day, as well as in Western culture following the revival of classical learning. The admiration of Sparta is known as Laconophilia. Bertrand Russell wrote, "Sparta had a double effect on Greek thought, through the reality and through the myth. The reality enabled the Spartans to defeat Athens in war. The myth influenced Plato's political theory, and that of countless subsequent writers. The ideals that it favors had a great part in framing the doctrines of Rousseau, Nietzsche, and National Socialism. Today, Sparta is still able to capture the imagination of modern audiences, spawning books, computer games, and movies. While much of the popular culture surrounding the Spartans might be closer to fiction than reality, the ideal of Sparta continues to inspire and motivate people around the world.